Welcome to Pulp Mortem, the search for a lost literary classic from the Pulp era. Quick question before we get started. What do you guys know about Finland? Despite being of Nordic descent myself, I have to admit I didn't know very much about that particular country. Well, I guess I know a few things about it. I mean, I know that they're apparently the happiest country in the world. That's cool. They carry their wives for some reason. Looks exhausting. They pickle their fish. There's reindeer. And there's one other thing about Finland. What was it? Oh, shoot. Folk metal. But it turns out Finland is also known for something else. Something ancient. Something mystical. Something epic. Hold your caribou. Before we get to that, a little bit about the author. Emil Petaja was an American-born author of Finnish descent. He was born in Milltown, Montana on April 12, 1915, and he died in 2000 at the age of 85. Petaja's introduction to speculative fiction came in 1931 when he stumbled across a copy of Weird Tales. He was hooked. He started contributing to the pulps in 35 and befriended many authors at that time, including Clark Ashton Smith, Robert E. Howard, and H.P. Lovecraft. Petaja moved to California in 37 and instantly fell into the sci-fi scene there, becoming friends with Ray Bradbury, Henry Kuttner, Forrest J. Ackerman, Frank M. Robinson, Paul Anderson, Philip K. Dick, Robert A. Heinlein, and many, many, many more. This guy was a natural networker.
Good morning!
Morning! Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And was the founder and chairman of the Golden Gate Futurians, a member of the first fandom community, the LA Science Fiction Society, and the Mystery Writers of America, as he also contributed to the detective and western genres under the pseudonym Theodore Pine. In addition to being a prolific writer and a poet, Petaja was also a publisher, photographer, and filmmaker. Petaja's first published novel was Alpha Yes, Terra No in 1965. He went on to publish 13 other novels, 150 short stories, and numerous poems during his lifetime. Petaja was awarded Author Emeritus by the Science Fiction Writers of America in 1995. Which brings us to Saga of Lost Earths. Carl Lempe had the nerve to talk back to his machine. That marked him for investigation for the sterile computer-run future of World Fed. Carl's defiance turned out to be just one of innumerable breakdowns that were rapidly undermining the world's highest civilization. But fate, in the plans of a hidden race of star-descended men, had a special place for Carl Lempe. For his rebellion was the start of a quest, a journey back through the dimensions to the source of the world's trouble, an outer space antagonist hinted at in the oldest legends of mankind. And Carl, alone, was to hold the Earth's last hope in his hands. This is a novel that combines science fiction with the great sweep of fantasy adventure that marked the works of Kuttner and Burroughs, which is based upon the ancient, yet strangely modern, prophecies of the Kalevala. Saga of Lost Earths is an original story published by Ace Books in 1966 for 40 cents, and I own the first printing. The cover's by Jack Gaughan, and it's alright. My favorite part here is his goofy golden cap. Nothing right home about here, but it's not offensive or anything. The 1979 edition by Jordi Penalva is way cooler, but that's neither here nor there. It's a short read at 124 pages, and you can find it online for under $5. Before we talk about the Saga of Lost Earths, we really need to talk about the Kalevala, or the Kalevala, or the Kalevala.
Whoa, what's wrong with you? What are you talking about?
I'm going to say it wrong. I just am. Let's get over it, everybody. But before we get to that, we need to talk about Finland. So cinch up your gakdi, slip on your yalkanites, and follow me to the land of lingonberries and Nokia. Finland was a part of Sweden since the 1300s and was annexed to Russia during the Napoleonic Wars. The elites of the West spoke Swedish as it was the official language of the country, and the East spoke Russian. Finnish was really only spoken by the peasant class, and Finnish culture was at risk of disappearing forever. They recognized the need for a national epic like the works of Homer to strengthen Finnish cultural identity. At that point, a doctor and scientist, Elias Lönnrot, decided to do something about it. There were great myths, stories, and poems that had been passed down hundreds and even thousands of years, but always orally and never written down. So Lönnrot traveled to the rural areas, seeking out poets, minstrels, and musicians, and for the next 20 years he recorded and compiled all of them. He called it the Kalevala, which means Land of Heroes. The Kalevala has 50 stories and over 23,000 verses. To put that in perspective, it's almost as large as the biblical Old Testament. Lönnrot then edited, added to, and wove the ancient poems to form a cohesive story called the New Kalevala, which was published in 1849. The impact was felt almost immediately. The Kalevala was well received by academics at the time, and the nation embraced it. Within 10 years of its release, the first school in Finland to teach the Finnish language was established. It shaped the identity of Finns as a nation and fanned the flames of a desire for independence. The Kalevala was instrumental in eventually gaining independence from Russia in 1917. Today, Lönnrot is called the father of Finnish literature, and the Kalevala is considered the national epic of Finland and has gone on to inspire the entire European world, including a certain author to write a certain book. Now, I'm aware that in this short review, I am probably not giving the Kalevala justice, and I am for sure mispronouncing some, if not all of the words. And so to my Finnish viewers and fans of the Kalevala, I apologize. It's no secret that words are hard, and I'm stupid.
I don't have a brain.
The YouTube channel Animation does a fantastic introduction to the Kalevala. I'll be sure to include a link to his video in the description. Give it a watch. It's really good and it's really fascinating. Another great resource is this book here. This is kind of a simplified version of the myths in the Kalevala. It might be kind of made for kids. I mean, but it's got cool pictures too. Listen, I'm not too proud to read a kid's book, especially because the Kalevala is, like I said, I've read the Biblical Old Testament several times, and it's a lot, and I'm sorry, but I wasn't going to do that for this review. I'd still be reading it today.
I don't want to do things. I want to not do things.
Although I will say, after doing all the research for this review, I'm officially on the lookout for a collectible copy of the Kalevala. Enough! What about the Saga of Lost Earths already? Glad you asked. Mythology. I love mythology. The reason the Kalevala has endured for centuries is because these archetypical stories are timeless and they resonate with all peoples. Petaja was smart here. If you're going to do a science fiction fusion novel, you could do a lot worse than adding myth. King James prose, I'm sure that's not the right term for it, but you know what I'm talking about. These, thous, thus.
Romeo, wherefore art thou?
Petaja did a great job. Eventually, as the two genres began to merge, the myth began to take over, even to the point of our hero talking in verse. Not an easy thing to do. The hero. I realize I've been talking a lot about the Kalevala and about the mythological aspects, but the mythological aspects are the best parts of this story. Karl Lempe is a type of Lemminkainen, and Lemminkainen is one of the four major heroes of the Kalevala. This book is actually the start of the Cosmic Kalevala series, where each single one focuses on a different mythological hero from the Kalevala. Watching Karl Lempe slowly become Lemminkainen, slowly become this mythological hero, really was fascinating. What was more fascinating is what happened to Karl Lempe after a certain event happened to Lemminkainen, which, I mean, I don't want to give out any spoilers, but I mean, the book's been out for a while. The voyage we're taken on as a reader is great. The book starts off science fiction, becomes adventure, morphs into full-on Odyssey-like epic, and ends with cosmic horror. You can really see the impact that his friend H.P. Lovecraft had on Petaja in the final chapter. It was truly alien. It was great. Now, the Huano. The ending was rushed. This is fairly common during this era, and the book was just too short. I mean, 124 pages. The ending could have been stretched a bit. It could have been given room to breathe. Like, I'm okay with the resolution of the story, what happened, but a resolution shouldn't feel like a cliffhanger. The title doesn't make any sense. This is the biggest flaw of the book. Knowledge of the Kalevala is not simply recommended, it's necessary. Unfortunately, this truly holds this book back. Terminology, names, places, events are constantly referenced and no explanation is given. During the sections where the myth overtook the science fiction aspects of it, my eyes were just glazing over. I could not follow along. I was just reading streams of Finnish words compounded together. I couldn't shake the feeling that this book wasn't written for me. All right, enough huano. Let's have some hauskus. Okay, the book opens at a child's birthday party. The child opens his present and he gets a toy gun from his father. Yeah, everybody's happy. And so his dad's like, shoot me, boy. And so he takes his toy ray gun, shoots his dad with his toy ray gun. And his dad dies. This is not explained at all. The tone is so different from everything else in the rest of the book that I had forgotten that it started like this until after I was done and had leafed back through it again. Now, there is some alien metal on Earth that is causing people to self-delete, but that's not what happened here. The kid shot his dad with a toy gun and he died. It's like Petaja had this cool idea for a scene, kind of shoehorned it in, but then forgot to explain it later on. According to the Kalevala, Pulurvo is this doomed, cursed being. He is a hex. He is a bringer of ruin. He is bad luck incarnate. He confronts Carl Lempe at one point, says he wants to join him. And Carl Lempe is like, so your name is Pulurvo? Kind of like that mythological betrayer? I mean, your name might as well be Judas? Also, you look like a monster and you have claws. And you're also super shifty and you keep saying creepy things. Also, I have this magical bad feeling about you, this premonition that's saying I should not let you join me. Whatever. Why not? Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen of the world, it's official. You finish your aliens.
Well, obviously.
Is that why you guys are so happy? Because you're on Earth now, but you're originally from Uranus? Excuse me, funny guy. It's actually pronounced Uranus. Not to me.
Good one.
There is something pulpy that I love almost as much as I love fishbowl helmets, and that is instantly KOing your opponent with a swift karate chop to the back of the neck. I'm going through the old Star Treks with my son, and the first time he saw somebody get KO'd by Kirk, he looked at me like... That's not how that works. The spoken word, coupled with pure belief, has power. This power allows Carl Lempe to do amazing feats. Some would say magical feats. And so you ask, what is this mysterious force called? It's called the Force. Now, this book came out years before Star Wars, but I mean, current day, is there anything more embedded in the cultural zeitgeist than the Force?
What are you? A monk?
I'm a Sith Lord.
This isn't Petaja's fault, but I mean, I can't read "He used the Force" without thinking of that small green Muppet. So what's the verdict? eBook. This is a new category, as I found that having only 4 simply won't do anymore. So here are the new rankings. Return to Pulp. This is trash and should be destroyed. Thrift Shop. Not worth reading, but has at least one redeeming quality that saves it. eBook. It's okay. Maybe worth a read on the cheap, but not worth owning or taking up space. Personal collection. Not without flaws, but buy it, read it, keep it. And finally, museum. This transcends the paper it's printed on. This is art. Saga of Lost Earths is competent and it's pretty fun. However, needing more than a passing familiarity with the Kalevala is a gatekeeper to fully enjoying this book. Now, if you know your Finnish mythology, go ahead and move this up to personal collection. For everybody else, I'd say go ahead and pass on it. All that to say, if I come across any other books in the Cosmic Kalevala series, knowing what I know now, I'll buy them. And that is my review of Saga of Lost Earths. Tell me, are you pleased that this review is now finished?
Boo! Boo! Boo!
Listen, I'm as upset about that as you are.
Thank you, I do. Next time join for Refuge of Loaf.
What?